What's up, guys, and welcome back to another weekly update. This one's gonna be tough. If you saw the video I just uploaded earlier today in regards to the trade, so we're just gonna jump right into it today. There's a lot to talk about. First and foremost, I want to talk about this one because I know this one's the one everyone's waiting on. If you haven't seen my other video, I'm going to try and condense it a little bit more and just get to the point versus all the emotions. Today, the Dodgers actually, 2 hours ago, the Dodgers traded away Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp, Alex Wood, and Kyle Farmer to the Reds for Homer Bailey, who they've already released, so he's already off the roster. And then Jeter Downs, who is a shortstop, second baseman. He's only 20, and Josiah Gray, who's a right-handed pitcher, who's only 21. Both of these guys are high-round draft picks who scouts seem to really like. So it does look like the Dodgers came away with some positives to this instead of it just being a salary dump. They did pick up two pretty good prospects when they removed some of our guys. So it's hard to trade Puig. It's hard to trade Kemp, especially Puig. He's never played for another team. He did so well for us in the playoffs. This is a tough one. But in my opinion, I do think it's for the best for the team. I do understand the move. You had to get rid of Kemp's salary. Puig's owed $11 million. Woods owed $9 million. I don't know what Farmer was making. It couldn't have been much. But what this does is with both Kemp and Puig being a free agent next year, it makes sense to me to get rid of them now and try to pick up some prospects and clear the money. It does open the door for Bryce Harper. There's no guarantee Bryce Harper is coming. There's still a lot of questions when it comes to luxury tax. He would still most likely make the team go over. From what I read, but it does start helping kind of split up the outfield. Our outfield's been way too crowded, and we got two kind of starters for us out of there, which also opens the door for Alex Verdugo. So there are a lot of positives to this, as well as obviously the negatives that it sucks that these players went. But if we look at it from a Dodgers standpoint versus the players they got rid of, I think it was the right decision. Sorry, I keep looking at my phone because there's a lot of things that keep coming in. Friedman's like in the middle of a press conference right now. And so I'm trying to keep up with everything just in case we get any more big news. But it sounds like they're kind of just answering questions about the trade. So that's kind of the biggest thing right now that's happened this week. It's actually the biggest thing that's happened all offseason. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. It's going to be weird. I can't wait for Puig to come back when he plays for the Reds. I'm going to be wearing my Puig gear and cheering him on. Obviously, I'm a Dodger fan first, so I hope we win. But at the same time, I'd like to see Puig do well because I do like the guy. And I know this one's going to be tough for him. On the positive note, he will be reunited with Turner Ward. So I am happy about that as well. On to the next thing, which is another big subject, is Bryce Harper. Dodgers came out earlier this week. Ken Rosenthal had an article on The Athletic. If you don't subscribe to that, I highly suggest it. It's fairly inexpensive and it's totally worth it. I love it. But anyways, he had wrote that the Dodgers will not give Bryce Harper a long-term deal. So this isn't all that surprising. I feel like it's kind of what I think a lot of people expected. The Dodgers don't seem like the team that's going to make this 10-year contract. They did that with Kemp, kind of became an issue in the long run trying to trade him. Obviously, they've been able to trade him twice, so it's not unreasonable out of all people to think Bryce Harper could be traded down the road, but they don't want to lock themselves up in a contract like that. So first things first, they had to get rid of guys if that meant getting Harper. They had to clear up the outfield. They had to clear up salary. They did that today. Now it kind of comes down to, do they want Harper? Does Harper want to come to LA? And will Harper take less money to come LA versus just going for the biggest contract? In my opinion, I would say it's a yes to all those questions. Again, I don't know. I'm just a fan. It's just my opinion, and I don't know Bryce Harper. But I could see him wanting to build on his legacy and wanting to come to LA versus going to Philadelphia or Chicago White Sox. I think he's a much better fit for the Dodgers. He's young. He's practically the face of baseball. I think it could be Mike Trout, but Mike Trout is not as attention, not seeking. I don't want to say Bryce Harper seeks attention, but he has a lot of attention surrounded around him. And so I think it would fit Harper. He has a chance in moving in other directions with his careers if he comes to the Dodgers. There's TV, movies. It's LA. Anything's possible in the long run if that's what he wants, and he wants that if he wants that lifestyle. So I don't think anything's out of the books with him until he signs with another team, or if the Dodgers come out and say, we don't want Bryce Harper. If that happens, then I will believe Harper is completely done with LA. But until that happens, I could see Harper taking a lesser contract to come here. I just think the Dodgers would have to pay him an insane amount of money each year so he could at least break the record for highest AAV for a player in MLB history. So there's a lot more now that Puig has been traded and Kemp. There's a lot more talks involving Corey Kluber and possibly JT Realmuto. The problem with JT Realmuto is the Marlins are still asking for an insane amount of prospects, and Cody Bellinger, stuff like that, same stuff. However, the two prospects that were just picked up from the Reds could possibly be flipped for JT Realmuto or Corey Kluber. I don't know which one. Last I heard, Dodgers are in the race for Realmuto, but it's not really going the way I think a lot of fans want it to because of what the Marlins are asking for. So if the Indians want to get rid of Kluber or Bauer to cut salary, I could see that happening now more than ever, but it's probably going to take Alex Verdugo because we just traded away our best outfielder minus Cody Bellinger in Yasiel Puig. So I think the Dodgers would have to give up Verdugo to go get Kluber, and I feel like if you give up Verdugo, Harper is a must. Otherwise, you're leaving an outfield of Jock, Kike, Taylor, Bellinger, and Andrew Toles. And that to me is not the strongest of outfields that we could put out there. So I kind of feel like Harper's a must either way, getting rid of Puig. But if they keep Verdugo, I guess he's not entirely a must, but we'll see. We do still need a catcher big time, and actually Andrew Friedman had just commented on that, saying he expects to go outside of the organization still. So they could still be looking at JT Realmuto. They could be using these prospects we just got as trade pieces to maybe throw in with Verdugo and maybe another MLB ready player. I don't know who that would be. But maybe if they picked up Realmuto, they send Will Smith over there along with Verdugo and two other prospects they just got. It just depends, I think, what the Dodgers are willing to do and how they want to move around their outfield, because I did bring up Kike and Taylor, but at the same time Andrew Friedman had just mentioned from a tweet I saw that he thinks Taylor and Kike have both earned more playing time in regards to second base. That also leaves Muncy up in the air, though. Muncy can go to first base on games David Freese isn't playing, and Muncy can play second base, and then you've got Kike and Taylor to unload in the outfield. The thing with the Dodgers, they have so much versatility with so many guys that they have so many options. Never hurts. So we're kind of waiting on a couple things. I don't think Harper's news is going to come anytime soon. If they do get him, it's still big up in the air. There were so many rumors flying around last weekend and even the past week that the Dodgers had an agreement with Harper. It was done. They just had to make some moves. I was even told that by someone who has a source. However, because there's always so many rumors flying around, and it doesn't surprise me that's happening with Bryce Harper, I refuse to believe it until I actually see that it's confirmed. I want him here, but I'm not getting my hopes up on any source until I hear that it's actually confirmed, because it's just, with a guy like this, there's so much going around to hear about. So we'll keep waiting on that, see what happens with Kluber, see what happens with Realmuto, and second base. Maybe it sounds like DJ LeMahieu isn't in talks anymore. I don't know, but back to Harper, I don't think we hear anything anytime soon. Machado has already told the three teams, the White Sox, Yankees, and Philadelphia, that he does not plan on making a decision until 2019. And between his agent and Harper's agent, there's a lot of alpha male type stuff. They both want to get their players the best contract. So I think They might be waiting to see what Machado does, or Boris and Harper may not care and may sign before, but we're 4 days away from the holidays, from Christmas. I kind of feel like we won't hear about Harper till 2019, but if I hear anything, you'll get a video from me just as quickly as you did with the whole Puig and Kemp trade. Big stuff like that, I'll get out videos as soon as possible just to keep people updated, but no more rambling on that. We're going to move on to the other things that are involved with the Dodgers, just not any of the big trades. So I know a bunch of you are probably going to leave now. I appreciate you sticking around long enough, but today the Dodgers officially announced Joe Kelly. So they announced it, Dodgers Twitter announced it. So now it's official. They've got the roster spot for him. I think after the trade today, they now are at 38-man roster out of 40. So they have 2 more spots to work with. Joel Sherman today tweeted that the Dodgers' plan with Kelly is to use as a hybrid reliever for 80 to 90 innings pitched, so often multiple innings, not just the traditional 1-inning setup role. I also just read a text or a tweet that said he believes Friedman said, "We really like Joe's ability to give us 1+ innings." Joe Kelly also made a comment today that he doesn't care what innings he pitches. He doesn't care how long. He just wants the big outs. He wants to go out there and make a statement, and he wants to help his team. I like that, especially when the guy has incentives for games finished, and he comes out and says, "I don't care. I just want the ball in big moments." So to me, I always like when a player says that. He gets more money if he finishes the game, but he doesn't. It seems like he just wants to win. He even made a comment, which was kind of funny. He said, "I hope Dodger fans will forgive me for breaking Hanley Ramirez's rib when we win the World Series this year." So he's confident in us winning the World Series. I'll tell you about that tweet in a second. And if you guys remember, it was the 2013 NLCS, I believe. It was Hanley Ramirez, it was game 1, and he broke Hanley Ramirez's ribs with a fastball. Everyone thought it was intentional. Ramirez was our best hitter going into that series, and the Dodgers just fell apart. They couldn't score without him. He couldn't play. He was hurt. So that's that's what Joe Kelly's referencing to, and it's kind of funny that he's just owning up to it and going with it. I forgive the guy. I just want to win. Give me that championship, and I'm sure everybody else will forgive him too. But this is in regards to Josiah Gray. Let me open the tweet. But a tweet from JP Hornstra had said, "Andrew Friedman said the Dodgers liked Josiah Gray a lot going into the 2017 draft. That's usually a good sign that they want to keep him. Plenty of teams liked Downs in the draft too, and Friedman sounded like he'd be extremely content to keep him." So back to my kind of what I was saying about Kluber and Real Muto with those prospects is maybe there's no chance at all that Friedman wants to move him. That's what it sounded like from that text. So you never know. Shortstop, second baseman. Turner's contract is up, I think, in 2020 as last year. Maybe Seager moves over to third. They want to keep guys for shortstop, second base. You got Gavin Lux coming up. Who knows? But that'll be an interesting one to watch because they seem to be pretty good prospects from what I'm reading. So when you have fans excited about 20 and 21-year-old prospects after they just traded away 2 big-name players, it seems like a good sign. So I'll have to do more research myself on them. But, yeah. So in other news, it's actually breaking news, and it's incredible news for the league and for Cuban players themselves. Major League Baseball, this is all from Jeff Passan. This was his tweet, word for word. Major League Baseball and the Cuban Baseball Federation have agreed on a historic deal that would allow Cuban players to come to MLB without being smuggled, defected, sources tell Yahoo Sports. Then it says, the big question, will the Trump administration allow it? I don't know much about the Trump administration and all that, so I'm not going to comment on that. I'm trying to actually bring up the article that was attached to it so I can give you guys a little bit more information. But in other words, a lot of people remember the story about Puig coming here and how his life, the cartel was threatening his life, and a lot of other really scary stories that Cuban players have had to go through in order to get to the U.S. to play baseball. And it's scary and it's nobody should ever have to go through that to chase their dream. So I'm extremely happy that they got that taken care of. It opens up a lot of doors for Cuban players who have the talent and also want to give themselves and their families a better life by coming here. So I'm glad they got that taken care of. And when it comes to President Trump, hopefully there's no issues there. And he just approves it, because there's absolutely no reason to not, in my opinion. That's how I feel. Let me see. So just one paragraph out of it, kind of the deal, which is expected to be announced Wednesday afternoon, aims to end the trafficking of players by smugglers, situations that have led to players being kidnapped, threatened, and extorted. Players would come to the United States on work visas, and teams would pay the CBF, a non-governmental organization that runs pro baseball in Cuba, for release of their rights. So that's pretty much the basis of it. This was tweeted out on Wednesday by Jeff Passan, so I would suggest checking out that article. It's through Sports Yahoo is where he posted that if you want a better idea on it. I think it's something that is great for all the fans to know. And yeah, I'm happy MLB got that taken care of. Finally. Should have been done a long time ago, but I know it wasn't just on them. It was on Cuba too. So, but back to kind of Dodgers NL West baseball news. This is the last couple things I'm finishing up with. But Chase Utley was actually in Vegas with the Dodgers during the winter meetings, and Alana Rizzo sent out a tweet the other day that had said Chase Utley is expected to join the Dodgers front office working with MLB and MILB players, and he has no official title yet. So that's really cool. I know him retiring was tough on a lot of fans, and his knowledge for the players made it hard on them. He's the perfect example of veteran presence. And now he's going to be able to help the guys coming up through the system, as well as the guys already in the league. So we will get to keep Chase Utley around. I don't know anything more than what I just read to you. It's obviously something they'll probably announce and work on once they have the roster set up and kind of figured out for the season. But it's really cool to know that he's coming back and hopefully gets to spend all the time he wants to with his family, since that is why he retired. And just keep helping our guys out. I know Kike and Seager, he was a big help to them, and I'm sure so many other guys in that clubhouse. So I think it's really cool that he'll be back with the team, and I'm very interested to hear what his title will be on that. So as soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. On the broadcast side of things, the Dodgers extended Charlie Steiner's contract through 2021. However, he did ask for a reduced role schedule-wise. It's just, he said it's becoming tough on him, his age, his health. He wants to be doing all the travel is what seems to be the harder thing on him. So because he asked for reduced schedule, the Dodgers actually hired a new broadcaster, and his name is Tim Neverett. He came from the Red Sox. He did radio 3 years for them, and then he did the Pirates for 7 years. So he'll kind of fill in for Charlie Steiner on the radio as well as the TV broadcast when Joe Davis is doing national televised games for Fox that he has his contract with. So when Davis is gone, we'll have more of Tim Neverett, and then when Charlie Steiner's gone on the radio, it sounds like Tim Neverett will be taking over for them, or for him. And then they did not extend they didn't renew Kevin Kennedy's contract. So he was also on the broadcast team this past year, and I think for the last few years actually. So he is gone and not working with the team anymore. Sounds like he's just going to go continue working with MLB. I didn't listen to the radio too much, so I don't have much opinion on the broadcast guys. I have my opinions on them, but they don't matter. So I don't have, though, my opinions on whether or not we are going to miss Kevin Kennedy, because I know the name and I know the voice, but I can't really think about it because I didn't have radio. So I know some people really love Steiner. I know some people don't, but I think that's how people feel away about every broadcaster. And then just to finish this up, moves around. Oh, speaking of broadcasting, actually, the Detroit Tigers offered Joe Davis a job, broadcasting job. It was kind of just a laughing thing around Twitter, it seemed like. I don't think Joe Davis would have given them the time of day. It's the Detroit Tigers. That's not going to be LA. And there was an article of a guy who probably works for the team, or is at least a beat writer, MLB.com guy. had tried saying that Detroit, working in Detroit would be better than LA, and he got eaten alive on Twitter. So that one's just more because it's funny. In other news, I don't know if you guys remember Zach Rosscup. He was in our bullpen this past year. He only pitched a few innings. He had some ups and downs. Oh, there go the parrots. Sorry. He actually signed a 1-year contract with the Mariners. So we obviously didn't pick him up. I think we DFA'd him. I'm not sure, or his contract expired, but he ended up with the Mariners. And then this one is just more NL West news. Daniel Murphy, who we know, unfortunately, because of the playoffs, he actually signed a 2-year deal with the Rockies. So that one's interesting because they did have DJ LeMahieu for second, but it kind of sounds like they don't expect to get him back. However, it does sound like they expect Murphy to play first base more than second because he's not the greatest second baseman. He's kind of lost that there, but his hitting is always incredible. And now that he's in Coors Field, I'm sure he's just going to get better, or at least while he's there, he's going to get better and do a lot better. So that one will not be fun when we face them. He's killed us in the past, so that one's a little tough, but I think we'll be fine. We still have the better team. We have great pitchers, so it'll be an interesting matchup as always. But Rockies are working on getting better. Diamondbacks are in rebuild mode. San Diego looks like they might be trying to make a push. I don't know how much of a threat they would be. And then the Giants seem like nobody really knows. I think they're rebuilding, but they're not 100% trading Bumgarner unless their plans are to re-sign him. I don't know what they're doing. I don't care what they're doing. But yeah, so that's it for this week. Crazy one. I don't know if we'll have much to really talk about next week with it being Christmas, but if I have any information, I will absolutely let you guys know. As always, thanks for following along. If you made it the whole way through this video and you enjoyed it or didn't but want more Dodger updates and whatever, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. Links for all my other stuff are down in the description. So thanks again for your guys' support. Hope you have an awesome Christmas if you celebrate it. If not, hope you just have a great weekend and go Dodgers, and I'll catch up with y'all next week, if not sooner. Bye, guys.